So
cookies.
You know how when you get like furniture from wherever and there's like those shitty like backings that are like you fold them and okay. So I was putting those two things in the back, right?
You're being a carpenter.
Bro. Yes. Like call me for all your carpentry needs because I can build IKEA furniture so I can do everything. Like I'll build you a fucking house. So I was putting those things in and it was literally the hardest part of the whole build because it just wasn't working. So then I get them in and they're like this much above where they're supposed to be. I'm like, motherfuckers. I'm like, I got you. I'm going to cut it off.
I was like, tell me you fucking knifed that shit off. Cause I would have been like, fuck.
I did. I got my butcher knife out because I don't have a box cutter here for whatever fucking reason. Why was I doing it this way like a fucking idiot? And I went like this and I like hit my finger. I didn't slice it. I hit it. And I was like, oh, like I'm fine. 2 seconds later, I looked down and I'm like, there's blood on here.
Yeah,
so
profusely
like
bleeding.
Split my finger wide open. I'm like, fucking great.
It's the butcher knife.
I just was like, and then I when I did that, I was like, that was real fucking dumb. Cause I'm like alone with my almost 8-year-old. What the fuck is he going to do besides freak out if I cut my finger off? Needless to say, I did cut them shits off with scissors. And it took literally me putting all of my weight on top of the scissors to cut through what it's like. It's not cardboard, but basically it may as well be cardboard. Yeah. But then I got them put back in. I got the whole thing put together. And then I put the last door on and it was this much above the other door. And I was like, how is it like that? No, my brain was like, fucking fix it or you're never going to want to look at this piece of furniture ever again. So I had to take both the doors off, swap them out, and now they're fine.
Oh, okay.
And now I built furniture by myself. Kind of like when you and I basically were mechanics in the Target parking lot when we changed out your wiper fluid. So
and by change you mean added to.
Yes. Yep. But we did it in the Target parking lot and we're very proud. So
I'm so proud.
There's that. Because I was literally like, I'm gonna wait for CJ to come back because I know my patience level is this much and I'm just I'm gonna be irate. And then Bug wanted to help and I'm like, this is gonna be bad. I'm just gonna be yelling at you the whole time. I'm just gonna be yelling at you the whole time. He got the hint after a couple. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna go watch TV. And I was like, probably a really good idea.
I think that would be best for everyone. Best suited for all parties involved.
To make this day go by smoother. It did take me like, I don't know, 2.5 hours or so. Yeah.
We've given up.
Because there's so many goddamn parts to it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I just said I would have given up.
Also, literally almost everything I wanted was out of stock. I was like, this place is so
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? When I went to look for the office, for my office, I was like, okay, so you have nothing I want? Literally nothing?
This was the only buffet that was left that I had an idea that I wanted.
It's upsetting.
Very. But maybe I was meant to have that one because maybe it was like the easiest one to put together out of all the ones that I wanted. I don't know.
Legit. My phone was not on silent.
Ooh. Get it together.
My mom.
I have such a fucking headache.
Kathleen is on one.
Why?
Anyway. Because she's like, Dominic just finished his soccer game. We are here with bouncy houses and we are ready to go. Because I told her I want to go to JCPenney's and use her discount in case I can find.
For shopping.
I'm like, Mom, I told you 4 p.m.
That means 4 p.m. That doesn't mean any time before 4.
It's 12:12.
It means 4 p.m. So.
Anyways, okay. I was going to clap and then I started doing this and then I was like.
Also, do you just want to skip the Audacity part because we're just going to use the Zoom audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah. The
left will make it easier.
Do that shit. I just clicked it. I just exited out of it. Okay. Hold on. I've got something else up. I'm going to keep that up unless it interferes. We'll see if it interferes. Okay. What's the first one we're doing?
I was going to ask you, which one do you want to start with? So.
Do you have them in a line? Just put your finger down in.
Not in this notebook. I know what they are. What do you feel strongly to talk about right now? Do you feel strongly about talking about rejection right away? Or is that just going to we're going to come out with a bang and talk about that? Or
bang it out. That's it. Okay. That's the one. Done.
All right, let's do it.
Bang it out like my fucking breath right now, guys. I had garlic Parmesan fries and I am literally like, oh.
Sounds so good though. That reminds me of
Oh,
Red Robin.
it's Jeffrey's Fine Foods, so they're the gluten-free ones. So that's why we go to the other Harbor Market. For those
Yum.
of you who were not listening before, if Steph cut this out, I don't know what she'll do because we're reckless with editing because we don't give a fuck because we know you guys love the random shit that we talk about. I went to the Harbor Market, which is in Kenosha, and I got these vegan gluten-free cookies from Candid Crumb. Shout out Candid Crumb, sponsor us. And then, yeah.
I will push your cookies all day.
Oh, I will just push them into my mouth all day.
I haven't had them yet, but I know that I will love them because I love
They're
cookies.
so good.
So,
I've never had a better cookie, and I have searched far and wide for gluten-free cookies. And then Cheffreys, so Cheffreys, Cheffreys Fine Foods. They make hand cut fries from potatoes, like legit potato fries.
yum.
They're so good, and they have a garlic parmesan one, and my breath is on point every time after I eat them, but I don't give a fuck because they're so good. They're so good. Anyways, okay. Rejection.
What episode number is this? Do you remember? Oh,
Oh,
we're not even together and we're on the same wavelength. I don't even, this just how it is now.
28.
Close. 29.
29. I have to take my earrings out. They're going to stab me the whole entire time we record.
I know it's
So
bad. I'm
bad.
taking my earrings,
right
my
now. Wow.
glasses
Not
off
good.
my face
Not
because
flattering. This isn't
they
flattering
squeeze
at
into
all.
my head.
This is so bad.
You have a hat on?
So terrible. I literally let my hair air dry, and I was like, I'm gonna look like shit on camera.
Did you have a hat on or no?
No, I didn't, but it's just like that's what happens. Like just flat nothingness.
Story of my life.
And then I
Story
was
of my
like,
life.
you should put makeup on for recording. And I was like, that's not what you would tell your followers, Mari. So shut up.
I only put mascara on because otherwise my eyes look like I'm sleeping.
Yeah, well, anyway. Rejection. Where do we want to start with this topic? This is episode 29. This
many
is
places.
a big topic, right? I feel like we put this one off a little bit, just because it's so huge. So, first and foremost, was this suggested by somebody?
No, you wanted to talk about it.
I do, like, because everybody needs to hear about this. Hey, dude. So, rejection. I feel like there's so many levels that we could talk about this. So let's talk about it from probably the first standpoint that people think of is like relationships, right?
Sure.
So that's the first that comes to my mind. But I also kind of want to touch on like friendships, job, just vulnerability in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, Stephanie.
Yes.
Tell me a time where you felt rejected in a relationship.
Oh.
Okay.
How far back do we want to go? Because
you go as far back or go down. I swear to God, guys, I don't smoke. Go to whatever example you want to go.
Just knows what I'm thinking. That's all.
I do.
So if I think back to even like high school or even like my early 20s, because I didn't have a ton of serious, like I had a serious high school boyfriend. We were together for a year, right? And then I wouldn't say I dated in college because it was not dating. And then I met my ex-husband. So then that was like the other serious relationship, right?
Sure.
But I feel like the guys before him, I was rejected a lot and didn't take the fucking hint.
Same.
Like, well, to be fair though, they gave a lot of fucking mixed ass messages, right?
Yes.
A lot of mixed messages. And so I would be like holding on for dear life of like, no, but I really think he likes me. Like, I really think something's going to happen. And then it didn't. And I was still left heartbroken.
Yeah.
Or I can remember a time in high school that I had a crush on this boy and he clearly had a crush on me, but he had a girlfriend. So like, obviously nothing was going to happen. Felt rejected then. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there was like blatant rejection, but like it was rejection in a sense of like they didn't reciprocate my feelings, right? And
Sure.
to me that is rejection because they don't feel the same way about me. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. How did you internalize that?
that I wasn't good enough. Right.
And then for what? Go
for
further.
that person. Right. So I wasn't good enough for you. So in my early 20s, I had a crush on this boy that I had known since like middle school. We played softball together. And I was just like, oh my God, I love him. He's so cute. And he gave me tons of mixed messages. Right. Like he would invite me over. We would go out. We would be like at my dad's old business. And so like mixed messages galore. But here's the thing. I was always friends with a lot of guys. And so maybe to them, this was just like me being friends with them, whatever. But he would like blatantly flirt with other girls in front of me. And then I'm like, well, I don't look like her. So clearly that's why he doesn't want to be with me. Right. I'm not a size 2 like her. So that's why he doesn't want to be with me or whatever. I don't like XYZ. So that's why he doesn't want to be with me. I internalize it in every.
Jeff?
I don't want to pause it because I don't know what will happen.
Don't pause it. Jeffrey! Is he dead?
Did he throw himself against the door?
Everything's okay? Yeah. Okay.
This is real life, people. This is real life.
Jeff goes, it was Zeus. I said, is he still alive? He goes, unfortunately. He goes, I was downstairs changing. I have no idea how this happened. I was like, oh my God, what is going on?
Oh my
God. I don't
God.
even think that anything was on the chair. Anyways, okay.
So yes, because of my anxiety and my poor self-esteem / literal no self-concept whatsoever, I internalized it as it was all because of me, not anything else. And I would get because a lot of these guys that I would like, not a lot. So some of these guys that I would like, they knew my dad. And so they were like terrified of my dad of like, well, I don't want to like be with his daughter because that I can't, like, that doesn't seem right. Or we're just really
Let's
good friends.
Be honest, Pa is so scary, but like also the sweetest. Like, isn't he? Like when you call him Pa, I'm like, I'm going to call him Pa too. Cause that makes me feel good. Like, Pa, I want to be your kid.
All my guy friends were terrified of him until they would like get to know him and they would talk about wrestling or baseball or sports. Like, dude, your dad's so fucking cool. And I'm like, I know. I don't know why you're fucking freaked out by him. He's great. Yes. But yeah, when you look at him, he looks scary.
Yeah. I was like, oh.
But yeah, that, those situations, because they weren't just like one and done, it happened quite a bit. And I think those led to me feeling inferior or not pretty enough, not skinny enough, all the things. Right. So then, like we talked about before, the second I was shown any sort of positive attention, I was like, oh, I fucking found the one. I found the one.
That's it.
I found it. Done. Right.
Do you think rejection, do you think that there is always a tie back to internalization or like sense of self of like internally that it always comes back to it's me?
For me. Yeah. I don't know if I could generalize it for other people, right? Because when I think about too being rejected for jobs, I mean, that was endless coming out of grad school and undergrad, getting the rejection letters from, we're going to go with somebody else. Mm-hmm. I feel like, especially at such a young age, the first instinct is to be like, I'm not good enough. And I think for me being a perfectionist for so long, that was like hammered into me. I'm not enough. I need to do more. I need to be better.
I really do feel like, honestly, if you look at across the board, I do feel like there is always a tie back to sense of self. Mm-hmm. Even when you do the work on yourself and you have some sort of sense of self, it is hard not to go back to that place, right? Like mm-hmm. that place of like, but it has to be me. Mm-hmm. Because I even think about jobs that I've applied for throughout the years and like knowing like there was a reason I didn't get them. Now looking back, I can see why I didn't get them. But when that happened, it was like, I'm not good enough. I don't have enough experience. I'm this, I'm that, and blah, blah, blah.
Dude, when I applied to grad school, actually, this is a really big one for me. When I applied to graduate school during undergrad, right? Like my senior year of undergrad, I applied and I was rejected by my school and I was fucking devastated. I was like, that's not part of my plan to get rejected. What the fuck am I supposed to do now? And their reason for rejecting me was I don't have work experience. And I was like, work experience to get into school? What? How does that make sense? I was like, whatever, I'll take your fucking word for it. So I worked for a year and then I got in and it was fine. But that was like a huge blow to my self-esteem because I was like, I can't even get into graduate school, right? It's like that all or nothing thinking, like it's all me. I can't even do it.
The same thing happened for me, except mine wasn't work experience, it was grades. For the first semester of undergrad, I fucked off.
Oh.
Freedom went to my head, and I was like, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna do things.
That was my entire sophomore year.
Fucking hang out and do. I spent the rest of my college career making up for that first semester. And it's by no means did I like fail out, did I do any of those things. I got a D in one class, a C in math, which is understandable because I'm fucking terrible at math. And then everything else was like A's and B's. But because of that undergrad semester, I spent the rest of it trying to make it up. And so when I went to apply to UWM for their Helen Bader School of Social Work for my MSW, they were like, you don't have the grades. And I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? So then I worked for a little while doing whatever. And then I finally found Concordia, University of Wisconsin Concordia, I think is what it is. I always fuck it up because I feel like it's a UW system school, but it's not, but it is.
I thought it was a private school.
It is a private school. Thanks.
So then it's not a UW.
It's not, but like then I think of like it's like Wisconsin University of Concordia, but that's not it. It's Concordia University of Wisconsin. So
there you go.
They just confuse people first and foremost.
Yeah, like my school was the Chicago School of Professional Psychology.
Yes. I never went to Mequon though. I was at their cohort, which was in Kenosha.
Oh, okay. Like literally 2 seconds from my house?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. 2 seconds from Rogers. Yes.
Whole nother story. Had lots of rejection there too.
So many ways. So that was difficult for me, but then somebody suggested Concordia and I was like, oh, let me see. And it was a master's in counseling. And I was like, oh, I honestly to this day think that if I had not been rejected by UWM, that I would not have been on the path that I would have been on. Right. Like I always wanted to get to counseling, but I think if I would have got my MSW, I would have stayed in social work.
It would have looked very different.
Then burnt the fuck out.
I was gonna say miserable. Like that's not to knock anybody who has a degree in social work whatsoever. No. But
my undergrad's in social work.
Well, and there's a significant difference between social work and counseling. Like, yes, you can be a licensed clinical social worker and counsel, right? But I feel people who go into the social work field in general, it's a very different expectation as to what they want to be doing.
Yes. So now that we've derived that, I think honestly, like the base point, like foundation is that it is a sense of self, like internalization of when we get rejected by somebody that I'm not good enough. And like, let me just read the definition of rejection because I looked them up. So rejection is the dismissing or refusing of a proposal or idea, or the spurning of a person's affections. And then I was like, what the fuck does spurning mean? So I looked that shit up. So spurn is a verb, to reject with disdain or contempt. Oof. And then it says archaic is strike, tread, or push away with the foot.
Oh, what? I'm just envisioning somebody being like,
fucking get away from me. That's just one of the, like, fucking get away from me. Yeah, literally. So like, how are you not supposed to internalize that of like, what? So here's how you're not supposed to internalize that. First and foremost, when we've talked about cognitive errors in the past, right? So we've talked about the importance of being able to check our perception of a situation to see if we are accurately viewing the situation. Like if we're rejected by a job per se, like, so I applied for a CPS investigator unit position. I would have fried. Oh my God.
Quickly.
Right into the frying pan. Oh my God. Bleeding heart. I would have been like, it would have been fucking awful. So looking at the people that I knew who were hiring, the people like doing the interviewing, the people that I knew who worked there, and then also looking for what their qualifications might have been. I think I was 2 years a year post grad from my undergrad. So a year into the field of like getting my feet wet, I realistically think that it had nothing to do with me now that I look back on it, and everything to do with who's interviewing me and them being like, no, I want to protect this person.
Mhm.
I had a very great relationship with the head of the ongoing unit. So whether it was the investigation or the ongoing, like foreseeing it, I had a very good relationship with her. She really liked me. And I really liked her. She was an awesome well of knowledge, right? But I really feel like the reason I didn't get that position is because she was like, no, you weren't made for this.
Mhm.
And there's a reason you weren't made for this. Whether or not that's true, I don't give a fuck, because that's
Right.
what I tell myself, because that's what feels good, because I realistically know I was not made for that. I was made to help people and not provide services in the sense of like, call this number or check in here, like go to this website. So I think it starts to get down to how we start to stop internalizing is one, taking a look at yourself and that situation. What are the factors going on?
Mhm.
So I think in jobs and like interviews and positions, it's easier to distance yourself. In relationships and friendships, I think it is so much harder to say, no, I'm a good person. Like has nothing to do with me.
Mhm.
So my question to you is, how do you start to, you personally, how do you start to distance yourself from not internalizing when somebody says no, or yeah, just when they say no to anything, to whatever the advance or question or thing might be?
So how do I learn to accept the word no? Or like,
How do
how
you
am I
start to-
talking to myself about when somebody says no?
Yes. How do you start to distance yourself from the automatic negative thoughts that are, I'm not good enough?
Let me think of an example where I've had to, because ultimately, ultimately, Jesus Christ, get the rocks out of your mouth, Stephanie. Ultimately, it comes down to what I say to myself about that situation, right? So if I ask you to do something and you're like, no, I can't. Sure, my automatic thought could be like, what the fuck? She doesn't want to hang out with me? Like, why? Right? It's not. Maybe 7 years ago when we first started hanging out, it's like, oh my God, she fucking doesn't like me. And like, this is so embarrassing. She doesn't want to hang out. Right? Because you don't actually know. And back then, I also feel like I didn't have the wherewithal to see it from your perspective. So maybe you said no because you had Soph and you wanted to spend time with Soph, but I didn't know that. And I automatically assumed it was me. Now, if you were to be like, no, I just can't, like, I don't have it in me, I fucking get it, bro. Right. And so I'm able to see it from a perspective of like, dude, I'm totally respecting that she needs space. And that's totally okay. It has nothing to do with me. It's not like you're saying, yeah, hi, I don't want to be best friends anymore. So don't ask me to hang out. Right.
I fucking hate you.
Get the clue. I don't want to talk to you ever again.
Isn't that what we just did this week? Like,
Yes.
Both of us had rough ass weeks, and we had every intention on filming together and being in the same space. And both of us kind of like skirted around the issue, but we were like,
we were both
I don't know,
like, I mean, like, I'm okay with doing it separate if you want, but like, I'm okay with it together.
But like, I mean, if you want to come over, and I'm like, I mean, I'll drive out there. You too.
But also,
like,
okay if you separate. So like, just like, it's fine. Like, just let me know.
but if you, I mean, it's okay if you don't want to come out here. Like, both of us were exhausted. It was a rough week, right?
Yeah.
And I think the other additive to like that foundational, like, first I have to step back and understand, am I viewing the situation correctly? But also the additive of like asking yourself, what have I done in this situation to perpetuate any of these negative thoughts? So if the negative thought is I'm being too much, what have I done that's too much? Give me facts that prove that that's true. Or like, I'm being annoying. What have I done that means that I'm being annoying? How have I been annoying? But then also too, being able to then pivot from the internalization, pivoting to, how am I supposed to know or work through how somebody else feels if they're not sharing that with me?
Or if I don't ask them, right?
Right. But like, if another adult is not saying like, hey, no, I don't want to, like, how am I supposed to be like, do they want to? Do they not what to do.
Yes.
What to like. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. I actually had a client message me the other day, and she was talking about how she is a very outgoing person that likes to be out and have fun. She's like exuberant and exciting. And she went on a date with this guy, and afterwards, or like when he went to drop her off, he was just kind of like, thanks. And then she hasn't talked to him since. So right away, she's internalizing it as he thinks I'm too much. He couldn't handle it. He's like not a city person, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hold on a second. All of those thoughts are based on him. Do you enjoy your personality? Do you like who you are? Do you love that you are energetic and that you love to explore and do things? That's what fucking matters, bro. If he doesn't, then he's not your person. And that's not to say like, fuck off, don't talk to me, but like your people will gravitate towards you. I'm not going to attract like polite Christian people who don't like swearing. Like I won't. And if they come to me, I'm gonna be like, that was a mistake because you're gonna hate me. And I know it, and that's okay.
Good morning, ma'am. I would like to take you out for a nice breakfast and a coffee.
Your people.
And on the way there, you're just fucking playing Slayer and like 9 Inch Nails, like, blah, like, and he's like, oh my gosh, she's vibrant.
But right, like you attract people that are similar to you.
Yes.
And she's like, I don't understand why I have to change for other people. I said, who said you have to?
You don't.
Nobody's saying
aren't your people. I think that's the next part of this is like, first, let's take a step back and am I viewing the situation correctly? And then next, looking at like, but like, am I okay with me? Do I like me? And if I do, why do I give a fuck with this person who might not be like in my space or vibe with me? Why do I care what they think? What does it matter? I like me. Yes. And when you like you, then you get to the third part. And this is Mari's coined phrase of, I know what I bring to the fucking table and I'm not afraid to eat alone. Yep. So by all means, please leave my table. Yes. You're frozen, my love.
So are you, but I can hear you.
Okay. I really hope my frozen picture is better than yours.
I was gonna say, oh, there we go. You were like this.
Yeah. You were like this. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, this is real life. This is real life when you're not tech people. So enjoy it, everybody.
Chef's kiss.
I wish, and this is, hindsight is 20.
You wish what? Because I'm about to therapize the shit out of you.
I was just gonna say, I wish I knew in my 20s, obviously, what I know now, because I was so insecure and not comfortable in who I was, because I was told for so long so many things that went against what I actually wanted to be and who I wanted to be as a person. Again, I'm not the therapist for everybody. I'm not the friend for everybody. I'm not whatever for anybody. I don't want to be. No. I want to be me. And I want to do things that I enjoy, how I do them, when I do them, where I do them. That's what matters to me.
What?
I don't know. Sounds like some dogs are fighting outside. I don't know what's happening.
I didn't hear it. I saw your eyes going. I was like, huh, what's happening?
One dog sounds like it's dying. So.
Is it the cat? Is it Zeus?
It might be.
Did he come over there?
Probably.
He's like, if Mari's not going to give me fucking attention, Stephanie
I'm going to go kick somebody's ass over there. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to go rip apart a dog. Let me challenge you on this. So of like, I wish I knew what I know now in my 20s, but then you wouldn't be who you are right now.
You're absolutely right.
So wishing for a situation, this is so huge. And so, God, I do this literally once a week, at least with one of my clients of like, well, I wish this. Wishing for a situation that you don't have is expending energy on a situation that may not never come, may not ever reality. Come. Yes. So why not we just turn that around and then focus on ourselves and put all that energy into you. And again, being able to challenge yourself. Like if you're not happy with the person or situation or job or whatever it may be, that relationship, and you feel like you're being rejected, let's take a step back. Let's recognize, am I viewing this in the correct light? Like asking myself my negative thoughts, are there any facts that prove that that's true? Then going to that second step of really being able to focus on like, why am I pushing so much for this relationship? Am I even sure that I want to be with this person, or that I like this person, or that I want this job, or am I just trying to fill a need? Mm-hmm. like because I'm lonely or because I need a job. You can get a job anywhere. You can find comfort anywhere in the sense of like, you can go to a book, you can go to a coffee shop, you can go to all these places. And also loneliness is an emotion in and of itself. You can change that.
Mm-hmm. I think when we are feeling shitty about ourselves or we are in a situation that doesn't feel great, we tend to romanticize whatever situation we're in, and we try to convince ourselves of like, no, but it's gonna work. Like he's gonna like me. Like
Literally.
we're gonna be together, right?
My
like
whole marriage, what? It's gonna work.
But it's also based on other people, right? And other people telling you like, you got to work for it. It takes effort, blah, 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 whatever.
Oh my God. Like, if I had a fucking dollar for in my generation, we fixed what was broken. Really? Petunia? Because I feel like Joe is beating your ass right now. And there's no fixing that. Let's talk about that. Not going to fix being disrespected every day.
Right.
It's not my job to fix that.
What happens with rejection is that we personalize the situation because we don't actually know what that person is thinking, right? Yes. You're only going to know if you ask. If you truly want to know, here's the thing, the fucking truth hurts, y'all. So if you ask that question, be prepared for an answer you may not want to get, but then you do with what you can with that information, right? So if they just say, we just didn't vibe or we didn't click, or if they didn't agree with something or whatever, then you get to decide, oh, well, it wouldn't have clicked with me either then if that's how you're going to judge me, right? Or like,
but I also feel like too, in the day and age that we're in, people aren't open. People don't tell the truth. It's me, it's not you. And it very well may be, but I will say like 8 times out of 10, people don't say the exact answer. So even if you are sitting here like, well, I'm going to ask them, I'm like, for what? Then you're going to get an answer for what? And then because of their subjective answer or opinion about you, you're going to change yourself because that one person out of, I don't know, fucking 700 million billion on this planet didn't like you. You're going to change for them, even though they don't want you. What? Go where you're respected. Go where you're appreciated. Like Steph said, your people will gravitate to you as long as you keep showing up as yourself.
Yes.
There's no time limit for that, though. So please understand, it's not like you're going to walk away from a relationship that's not serving you. And then 10 seconds later, you're going to be like, oh my God, I have 14 friends and 3 possible new, love interests. It's not how it works. You have to put the work in on yourself and know your worth. You have to know when to walk away from situations that do not serve you.
I also feel like rejection can be a fucking really great motivator, right? So at our old place of employment, I was rejected multiple times for multiple different positions. And in my heart of hearts, I was like, fuck y'all, because I know that I can do this job. I know that I have a lot to bring to the table. And I could have easily just been like, I'm just going to quit this whole company and leave right now. And I wouldn't have gone up the way I did or gain all the experience that I did, right? I used it as a motivator to basically prove them wrong, right? So like, yes, I did internalize, well, why wouldn't they give me this job now? Or why did they give it to this person? What do they have that I don't? But then I use that to fuel me to just educate myself even more, get more experience, get better at what I was doing. And then I proved to all them motherfuckers that I was worth it, right? Like, I was like, no, I am worth this. And I know that I am a highly intelligent and skilled clinician. And like, that's what matters, right? But I also feel like when other people's perception is not the same for whatever reason, that can bring you down at times if you allow it to, right? Like if you have management that just fucking hates you for whatever reason because they're intimidated by you, nothing you do is going to change their perception. And that just is what it is.
And also, we don't change or attempt to fix other people's perceptions of us.
Yep, that's not.
They're going to have they're going to have their perception regardless. That is why it is so important to work on knowing who you are and what you bring to the table and what you are looking for. Because here's the thing, I can't tell you not how many times. There was one time in the place that Stephanie and I previously worked, and maybe this isn't the job for you. I've known what I've wanted to be since I was 14. I am a damn good therapist. You are not going to say some bullshit like that and make me question myself. Like, first and foremost, you can kick rocks. I know what I was I know what I was put on this earth for, whether I was given the gift by God, whether I was given the gift by the universe. I am good at what I fucking do. So you can eat that shit and kick rocks because of your own insecurities about what you bring to the table in your job. Good fucking bye.
Well, and ultimately it was the insecurity of being intimidated by us because we were beneath her.
Yeah.
Categorically speaking, nobody's beneath anybody in terms of that kind of
No.
stuff. But like it was because we were under her because she was above us, and she just had this perception of like we were intimidated because we knew what we had to offer and what we were and weren't going to tolerate, whether or not she was our boss or not.
Exactly. Not
That's
going
why
to tolerate disrespect.
Yeah, I don't do well with bosses just in general because you don't get to talk down to me because you're above me. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. I've had good bosses. I've had bosses that I've learned from. I've had bosses that have been absolutely fucking shite. It doesn't necessarily matter though. What matters is knowing my worth and what I bring to the table. In relationships, in friendships, like I can't tell you how many times there's also been friendships where it was like this feeling of like trying to be corralled into this position that the other person wanted me to be. And it's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not here for that. And if you don't want to be my friend, then fine. I guess I'm going to go friendless for a little while. Cause I'm the type of person who has a couple of close friends and I keep those friends for a while. And I may not get to see them as often as I want because I'm a very busy person. I always have been, but that doesn't change my love or my want or ability to be there for them. I could not have seen you in 2 to 3 months. And if you call me and say that you need me, I'm fucking there. But here's the thing. I know what I bring to the table. And if you are not bringing that to the table too, as well, if you are not serving the greater good, which is me, we're done.
I just want to be clear. If you ever go 2 to 3 months without seeing me, I will murder you.
I will murder myself.
Not literally. I will not allow that to happen.
I don't ever foresee that happening. I think that we are interconnected on many different levels of where we have to speak to each other. Like the one day, was it Sunday? You sent me a couple of Marcos, and I didn't get a chance to check them. And then I text you and your text was off and I was like, something's off, something's wrong. And then it started this week for us. And you're like, I'm just sad. And I was like, I fucking get that. And then like later on in the week, I Marcoed you crying and I was like, I don't know why I'm crying. Who knows? Like, so yeah, I think that we are way more in tune than we think that we
I was just telling the girls though, during the last gang guidance, we were talking about intimacy. And I was like, intimacy happens in friendships. And I was like, I can honestly say out of all of the friends I've ever had in my life, Mari is the only one that truly knows me as a person and can tell when something's wrong and she'll leave me alone or she'll push me to talk about what's wrong. She can tell like when I need something, like you can just tell, like I don't, it's crazy to me how I've had close friendships my whole life, right? Like I've always had friends and very, very close friends, best friends, good friends, but something happens when you decide that you want to be vulnerable and really intimate with another person in a friendship that opens up like a whole nother fucking portal of your friendship.
But that right there is a perfect segue into like tying this all together, right? Of like, if you take a big risk of being open and vulnerable, that reward is huge. So like step aside from that fear of rejection. I'm not saying like put it, like toss it out of your mind, like it's not going to be there, but like just pin that for a second, put a little pin in it and take a step back and like really realize what you could accomplish with that vulnerability versus allowing that fear of rejection to overtake you. There is no reward without the risk, no matter what.
I was just going to say every single dynamic and relationship has a risk to it. And you have to decide when you're going to take it in order to, like you said, reap the benefits of it, right? Had I not opened up to you or vice versa, we wouldn't be where we are 7 years later.
No. No, we would not.
In many aspects of our lives.
We have gone through it. Through it. Fucking God damn it.
I wish I knew the actual anniversary of our friendship so we could appropriately celebrate. I know it was November because you started in November 2014, right? Into day treatment, because I feel like you were in AOTA before that, maybe.
I was in AOTA before that. I started in September. Man, it had to be November. I was there for at least a month. It had to be. did we become friends that quick? It had to be in October because remember the first Christmas together when we did
Yes.
when,
With the ugly sweaters.
the ugly sweaters in our
Guys,
pictures.
you want to see this picture?
We will. We gotta post it. We gotta post it on Instagram. Oh,
So embarrassing.
The anniversary should come up on Facebook or something, like where I got the job. It should start to pull up. Like I wasn't like, dear Facebook, I met a new friend today.
Well, no, because you didn't like me at first.
No, it's not that I didn't like you. I was scared of you. I was very scared of you. Not in the sense of like she's gonna beat me up outside, but I was very much so like she does not look approachable. So I'm gonna like that is the perk of being a Gemini. I'm like I can be a chameleon. So let me take a step back. Let me read you for a little bit, see what's going on. Let me play to your senses, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I know she is.
I just remember being in staffing. We were like all crammed in either Kate's office or your office, and we're in staffing. You were talking about Adam being deployed, and then we started talking about being married, and then it just like morphed. And like we've talked about the story before when we went to Target and Mari cried, and I was like, oh, she's crying in front of me. So like she is feeling vulnerable. Like this is.
Was that the same day?
I don't remember. No, because
it was not the
that
same
staffing
day.
Was actually in the group room.
That the staffing that I cried, that I got overwhelmed and then went to my office and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go to Target. And I was like, okay, me too.
Yes.
That was the first interaction we had together. And then it slowly built after that. And then what you were talking about of us being in the same room, and I was like, this is it's the catch-22 of being a Gemini. I can be a chameleon, so I can read the room and play to the room, but like can also say some shit that I don't necessarily think I'm like, oh, and that's exactly what happened. I was
we dropped like hints and like tidbits of things, and then again we talked about this. We went on our first date to go to the movies, and we had wings, and then
was that the day that everything opened up?
Yep.
Boom.
And then more and more kept opening up, because what Mari and I would do is we would take every lunch break, and we would take like an hour and a half lunch break.
Yeah.
And go to Target. We would go tanning. We would just fucking go get frozen
ice cream
covered in Nutella and fucking cookie dough. And like, it was great every single day. And then somebody fucking told on us and we got in trouble. And I was like, I'm salary, you motherfuckers. I'm here all the time. Let me have
literally
my time.
When I said kids inpatient, I'm here until 7. And I don't
so like, let me have a lunch break and take care of myself with my best friend.
Let me eat froyo, okay? Let me live my life.
It was called Urban Culture. It was so good.
It was so good.
It was right next to the tanning place. We would go tanning and then fucking
under that Nutella pump.
It was a Nutella pump, you guys. Like it was like fucking massive.
It was a bucket. Anyways, okay. I'm gonna go off on a tangent. I love Nutella.
But again, to loop this back in, had I not decided to share those things with Mari and be vulnerable at the risk of her judging me and being like, this bitch is fucking crazy, I don't want to talk to her, right? Like we wouldn't be where we are today. But I chose to take that risk because I was like, no, something tells me that like she's gonna get me.
Yes. And I was like, I get you. I hope that translates over audio, because the video makes sense, but like audio, they might be like, what is she sneeze in the mic? What's that? Anyways, I think this was awesome. I'm going to say that at the end of every fucking episode. I don't know how to wrap the episode up without saying it. So you can find us at Rewriting Her Story Podcast on Instagram. You can find Steph at SpookyFitMom13. SpookyFitMom13. I felt like I said that a little too fast. You can find me at BEA_XO11. You can find us together at Rewriting Her Story Podcast on YouTube. There are so many bids queued up, ready to go. One dropped on Friday, then our Monday PS episode for subscribers is dropping, and then Wednesday the new episode drops. And then by the time you guys listen to this, there will already be other episodes listed. So go watch our videos because we're cute. People
have been like, you guys crack me up. I'm like, I know, right?
I literally listen to us and I'm like dying. Like Liz, Liz who always supports us. She was listening to us and she was like, I was walking my dogs cracking the fuck up when you talked about like eating a can of corn for an after school snack. And I was like, I'm trash. What's up? Like, love me some can of corn. Like, even to this day, check out if you're in the Racine area or Kenosha area, check out the Corn King. Oh my God. He has hot Cheeto. Oh,
Oh, I was like,
oh my God. Hot Cheeto, like elotes cups. Oh my God, Stephanie. I was literally like, can I work here? Like, do you have a
do you need
position
any help?
open?
Do
Do you have
need
a
help?
position open shucking corn? I will work for corn. Like,
Hold on, your audio just stopped. I can't hear you.
can you see me or hear
Now
me?
I can hear you. Yeah, now I can.
Okay. My internet went out, so.
That was so weird. This is real life recording a podcast.
It
on
is
Zoom.
real life. Sorry, guys. Anyways, so that's us. I do have a sign off that was requested for us. It's
What?
Pip pip cheerio. We have to do it.
Together?
I already did. Yeah, I already did it. Pip pip cheerio.
Pip pip cheerio.
Good eye. I'm mixing again, Australian and British. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this, guys. Anyways, we love you. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.